What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hope Shot. Man, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Yeah, it's been a eventful weekend, full weekend, full. Does anybody ever feel like they don't have a weekend when you don't get a sleep in, like no sleeping? Yeah, I sometimes, man, my life is so full, which I'm grateful. And I don't get a sleep in, man. I'm like, why? I just want to sleep in, man. That's it. But yeah, I'm grateful, man. But if you guys just jumping on, say what's up, let us know you're here. We have Melissa from Sober Now in the house, and she has brought an awesome topic that we're gonna talk about tonight. Let's see, Caesar, can you read that clarity statement?
I can, sir.
Thank you.
The Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common. Recovery is a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. And thank you for being a part of our Hope Shot family.
Thanks, Caesar. All right. Yo, big shout out to Missy. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Missy.
Happy birthday, Missy.
We love you. And we got Kelly says hello. We got Rachel. Happy Sunday, fam. Christina. Hey, fam. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Shared. Appreciate the share. If I don't know if I said that already, but if you guys would share this out, you never know who might be going through the same thing, needs to hear this message. We got Lynn in the comments. Hey. Good to see you.
Hey, Lynn.
We got Jerry. Love you too, buddy. And we got Caroline. Hello from Indy. First time. Well, welcome. We do this every Sunday, 8 p.m. live right here on the Hope Shot. Thanks for tuning in. And then we have Gina. What's up, Gina? Good to see you. We have Misty. Hello and happy birthday to Missy. We got Michael. I'm new here, but in recovery. Well, welcome. We got David. Dave Sober Bus Tribe NYC, clean and sober since 4/16/94. All right, going way back. Congratulations to you, my friend. And that's it for now. All right, so Melissa, what's the topic look like tonight?
What are we talking about? We're talking about wreckage, cleaning up the wreckage of our past.
Yep.
Is that it? Yeah.
That's it.
So I think the topic came about when we were chatting the other day, Justin, right? I don't know if you guys know, but I am the little sister that Justin never wanted. And
you need to stop putting that bullshit out in the air, because that's not even true.
I'm hitting him up all the time. I'm like, I have a lot of respect for what the Hope Shot does, and you guys are out in the community and y'all have a lot of innovative ideas, and I'm doing the same thing up here in North Carolina. And, I'm an author, and so I'm writing and I'm constantly cycling through ideas and stuff, and I love to bounce it off of you guys. So I was talking to Justin, but when we were talking about work-related stuff, I got honest. I always do this. I try and manage things on my own. I got this. I can figure this out. I'm going to be okay. And I forget the important piece that I talk to everybody about all the time. I mean, go to Sober Now. You'll see unity. I'm always talking about how important it is to stay connected, that we don't have to go at this alone, that we if we're honest with what it is that we're walking through, it's not only going to help enrich our pathway, but it's going to help the people that are involved in our lives too. And so I just spilled the beans and said I was going through something. And I was, it was at the beginning stages of it. And so I was cycling through and I was kind of manic about my thoughts. I hadn't really processed anything yet. I was overwhelmed and probably crying. And the deal is that, in November, I'm coming up on 10 years sobriety date, right? By the grace of God, I will have 10 years. I'm looking forward to it. But that doesn't really mean anything, because day by day, one day at a time, no matter how much time that you have, we all are going to be faced with life on life's terms. We're going to be faced with resentments. We're going to be faced with all the things that we walk through in recovery that led us up to our recovery paths. And I just keep making up this thing, the story or narrative in my head that once you get to a certain time in recovery, then you don't have to deal with certain stuff anymore. And it's not working out like that for me. So I don't know. I keep going on that cycle, but I jump on that hamster wheel and then I'm like, oh, okay, time to learn some lessons. So I'm in the middle of learning a lesson. And I love you guys. I love everybody watching. You know, the Hope Shot is my family. And I just want to come clean and talk about it and be authentic about it. I plan on writing about it. But as I'm walking through it, this is a safe place for me that I come to. And so I thought Justin thought maybe if I share a little bit about what I'm going through, that it'll be good for us. Maybe it'll resonate with somebody out there. So, back in my active addiction, I clearly didn't understand what love was and much less understood self-love. And I was with somebody who had a lot of money and lived a lifestyle and offered me a lifestyle that the way that you looked was very important. So in order for me to be with this person and be loved, I had to look and play a certain role, and it was exhausting and it didn't work out. I couldn't run with him for very long because I just couldn't keep up with what it was that he needed me to be. It wasn't me. But in that process, I altered my body and I had a breast augmentation. I write about it in my book, so it's no secret, but it's just something that I did and I probably regretted from the very beginning. The size that I chose, it was just the whole entire thing was not for myself. I'm not against them. I know that there are a lot of people that do them for themselves and they make that choice, but that's not why I did it. I did it for somebody else, and so regret set in instantly. And, I've always been out of proportion. And so I had this augmentation done. It's a major surgery, you guys. And then I spent the rest of my life the last 14 years after I left him, trying to mask them and act like they're not there. So it's been this crazy thing. I just tuck it under the rug, like make it go away. It didn't happen. But you can't, they don't last forever. And they they expire. You have to go get a 10,000 mile checkup. And I'm at about 14,000 miles. So I'm going to go have a surgery. I woke up and I found that one of them was actually, it had leaked. And so that caused a lot of fear. And I didn't talk about it to anybody for a couple of days. I didn't talk to anybody about it for a couple of days because it's embarrassing to talk about. I already had some body issues, and now I look different. And then I got in my head. And so I kind of sat on it for too long. And then I went to my husband, who was amazing. I don't know why. You guys know I write about him. I talk about Derek. He's my hero. He's the best guy. He loves me for me, right? I'm in recovery. He literally held my hand and brought me to recovery and stayed with me through it. He's not in recovery. He just loves me, and he loves who I've become through it. And he just reminded me that is something from my past. It's a choice that I made in the past. It's okay to regret things. I mean, you do. We're human. Okay. I regret doing that. It was a bad choice. I didn't do it under the right pretenses. The problem that I'm in right now is all of the attachments that I have put with that regret. Okay. That's the dark, scary, gross place. Because when you are attaching all of these things and meanings and narratives to something, they're not real. They're right. This is things that you make up in your head, and you're not living in the solution, which we know is what keeps us in the present moment and keeps us from being sick spiritually and physically, really. And so I went through all this stuff. So I'm working through it. I'm at the tail end. I've got a surgery scheduled, and it just brought up all this stuff. I was sitting at the doctor's office, and I had to tell him. I had to say, oh, it's a little worse than I had thought. So they did some screening and stuff, and I'm gonna have to have some reconstruction, and it's actually a blessing in disguise. And we'll talk about gratitude in a second. But the way that it happened and the time that it happened, it probably has saved me from future health issues. And so they caught some stuff and have some reconstruction done, and it's going to be painful, and it's going to require pain management. And I had to come clean, and I had to say I'm in recovery. My drug of choice was alcohol and Xanax, but I've abused opioids as well. And so I had to tell them that. And we had to go through the whole conversation about what that looks like and how am I going to manage my pain after the surgery and the weeks after that, because I don't want to get graphic, but it's not like you have the surgery and you're done and you go back to work. There's things that are going to go along with it. So it's going to be a couple of weeks of healing. And then that brought up like this shame and guilt. I went and got in the car, and instead of being in gratitude that I have this husband that's supportive, and I have this friend, Justin, that invited me to talk about it and process it and embrace it. And I have, I have the means. We have the means to have this surgery. We have health insurance, and what was not being covered, we were able to move some things around and make that happen. Not everybody has that option. Some people are having mastectomies. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You know what I mean? There's some people that are going through some heavy stuff. Some people that are not going to survive what is going on. And I'm not dealing with that specifically. And so I have like all this gratitude or whatever. But when I got in the car, I wasn't there. I still hadn't cycled through my thought process. So I sat there and I just cried again and let it all out before I had to go to work or move on to my next thing. I think I had a speaking event. And I felt bad. I felt sorry for myself that I can't just go to the doctor and schedule a surgery, that I got to talk about, that I can't take pain medication like a normal person. And it's silly because I'm a recovering out loud. I'm an author. I write about it, right? But for whatever reason, in that moment, I just became this like person that didn't feel very free. And that's because the freedom from all of those resentments and all of that guilt and shame and all the attachments that I talked about that I put with anything like that, the freedom comes from being in the present moment, which is in the present moment, I allow myself to find the path of gratitude. And that is like an instant healing. It's an instant remedy. It really is. But I wasn't getting there. I wasn't getting there because I wasn't being honest about what I was walking through. I was attaching things to it that didn't belong and didn't make sense. And I was letting fear drive the bus instead of going in my normal thought process, the one that works best for me and for my recovery, which is what happened. Okay, here's what happened. 14 years ago, I didn't love myself very much, and I altered my body. And now, 14 years later, it's time to have them removed and take care of it. That's what happened. My husband didn't think that I'm, uneven, right? I have a flat tire right now. All these things that I made up in my head, they didn't happen. My job didn't say you've been gone traveling, speaking all the month of September, and now you want another 3 to 4 weeks off for recovery time. They all sat down. Men, I work for a lot of men. They sat down and said, this is okay. You're still healing. This is another part of your healing. You're going to write about this. It's going to help people. You're going to have some time to be present and still in your home and recover and be by yourself and have downtime and think of all the things that can come out of that and the closeness that you'll have with God in those moments, because you don't have all these distractions around. That's what happened. Not what I was telling myself is I'm going to get fired and I need this job. I need the money it pays me. I need the spirituality that comes from it. All of those things were, they were just made up in my head. And if I hadn't started the process of acceptance of this is what happened, this is what I'm walking through, and feeling all the things that come along with disappointments that we will have in life, wreckage from the past, cleaning it up, it doesn't matter. You could be 20 years clean. You could put a timeline on it if you want. It ain't going to matter because it's going to come back up. Things are going to resurface. Somebody's going to remind you used to be a junkie. Somebody's situation is going to remind you that you made some poor investments. Some situation's going to pop up when you least expect it, and you're going to remember that you were a shitty parent, or that you're a terrible spouse, or that you're horrible to your mom and dad. These things are going to come back up, and you have to be, Nate always says it, you just have to really be spiritually fit, and you have to be connected with your circle, with your people, because we're human and we are not there. I could write an award-winning book. Justin can host the best Sunday Night Live or whatever. It doesn't matter. Those are just accomplishments from hard work. We are human beings and we are full of error, and we need connection to help keep us on track. We cannot always do it for ourselves, and we need the connection with our creator, our higher power, to go to, and to have faith in these kind of times instead of walking in fear. Otherwise, we know what the end result is. So this is me coming clean with my family, my Hope Shot family tonight. And I just wanted to share that, an honest, authentic part of something that I'm walking through. And I hope that it helps somebody out there, because I love you guys. Y'all mean the world to me. And I'm just happy to be here. That's it.
You know, Melissa, I kudos to you for your courage to come on here and talk about it. The very thing we do on here is get vulnerable. You know, that is our strength. Believe it or not, I never thought it was before, but it is now. Our strength is our vulnerability and how we express it, and that will in turn into somebody else's hope. You know, that is exactly what it is. We're making recipes for hope. And to come on here and talk about it, you know, we have two people in the comments that were just, you know, said something and commented on it, you know, that they're going through stuff right now, and it helps. You know, I think this is not, you know, just with you and your situation. It's the second time brought up this week that the wreckage of the past, you know, because like first getting in recovery, there is a lot of shit, man. I remember piled up, and like it was just all piled up. Like I remember first coming in recovery and having multiple accidents, right? And having to pay an enormous amount of money per month for insurance, just insurance alone. It was like $1,000 or $1,200 a month. And that's insane, right? But it's because I got into a bunch of accidents because I was jacked up and not in the right state of mind. And I'm looking on my phone or whatever. And it was never my fault, though, just to let you know. But it was my fault. It was never my fault at the time. It was everybody else. Everybody else can't drive, you know? But those little things can get us caught in a backward fantasy, I guess you could think of I'm never going to get past this. I'm doomed, a doom and gloom, you know. It's like anything else. Like when I first got in recovery, I couldn't rent a house, you know. I couldn't rent a house, and I couldn't rent a house the whole time because I have a background, and I was hard. And another thing is, I had somebody call the state on me, the state of Florida on me. You know, I'm a felon, you know, because I was doing uncontracted work. And those things screw us up, man, because for one thing, the Hope Shot started because of something from my past, right? Something was brought up from my past. It was my mugshot. And I never dealt with the shame and guilt that came from my past, the wreckage of my past. I never dealt with it. I always want to put it off, you know, like a good old addict that I am. I want to put it off. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. I want to put it in the closet, put it on the top shelf, and leave it alone. Like until somebody freaking reminds me of it, or it comes to the light, then I have to deal with it. And what you're going through is it's a big one, you know. It's big. And those big life events happen, but it's totally opposite, man. People love us for exactly who we are, no matter what. And we have to get out of our own fucking way, you know, and acceptance, like you said, acceptance is key. As soon as we accept it, like it is what it is, man, and we can move forward, it makes it so much easier. I had to do this with my daughter this weekend, and parenting sucks, just to let you all know. It's the most rewarding thing, but it is the most hardest task there is. For one thing, past trauma of my own. I was a kid at once, but I have to, it's the discipline part that sucks. Okay. Not the parenting part. I guess I shouldn't have said it sucks, but, but let me rephrase myself. The disciplining sucks. I want to be my kid's friend. I want to have a relationship with my kids, you know, and I don't have great relationship because the wreckage of my past with my first two, you know, it's not a close relationship. Well, I have two right now. They're young, and some things went down this past weekend, and it was her birthday on Friday. And we had to make a decision. And those decisions sometimes are not the most comfortable, right? They suck, literally. And as much as it pained us to do in the moment, it was the right thing to do. Because if not, you know, it's funny because Tiffany, you know, she has the Bible app on her phone, and she does like every day. That's what she does, right? And the next day after we stuck to our guns about disciplining our daughter, the next day we got confirmation that we're doing the right thing, because it says this discipline is not, it's not comfortable, and you know, pretty much nobody likes it, but it harvests the harvest is good, right living. You know what I mean? Like in future, the future is it's good, right living. So they're going to learn that you cannot do this, because she's so focused on fun that she's going to, you know, lie and manipulate situations, you know, because she's a kid and she wants to have fun, right? That's just what it is. And that's me until I was 35, right? That was me till I was 35. I was like, well, I didn't get it till I was 35, so I can't really say anything, right? But I can, because I have to be there. And she just turned 10. That is a ripe age, right? That is the ripe age. That is, if you don't get them now, you're going to get you in the long run. And it really hurt us, man. It really did. And I hated it, but I was just thinking, man, if I don't stick to my guns, if I don't, what would that look like? Now, you know, past stuff is I have shame and guilt from my two older ones. And that carries into this. And that's the wreckage of my past, bringing into here. Now my decision making, right? So I have the wreckage of my past, the shame and guilt. I'm bringing it into this situation right here. How am I going to make my moves, right? And same with Melissa. How am I going to make my move? Okay, well, I can go this way. We always have two choices. And I do that. I had to explain this to Jalen too. You have two choices. Okay, you go this way, you go that way. We know right from wrong. We know that, and we got to sit here and we have to not believe, you know. For one thing, I rely on people. Like I called Caesar, I talked to Nate, I talked to a bunch of other people to make sure I was doing the right thing, because I didn't want to be too harsh and not harsh enough. You know what I mean? Like, because it was a serious thing, right? And so, you know, we did it, and it, you know, it all works out. It's not like she lost all her fun, but it's just postponed for the moment, you know? And those hard decisions, those things that like to creep in because of all that shame and guilt that you have, they don't serve us anymore. You know, that doesn't serve me today to be able to make and produce a good harvest for right living in the future with my kids. Right. So that's why I like those things that come up, man. Like this week, there's a couple things, man, like that came up just like that. And that's why I was like, man, it is just spot on. We got to talk about this. It's like the signs, right? The signs. So, yeah, that was my, go ahead. Don't raise your hand. Just unmute yourself. Grade school.
Roll, man. I was not about to cut you off, Bubba. That wasn't going to happen. It's such a good topic. It's, you know, cleaning up the wreckage of your past is one part of it. There's some things you can't clean up. So it's facing the wreckage of your past, you know, and, you know, from early on, I got a healthy dose, you know, a real healthy dose of this. I got out of the rehab, and it was like the first time that I was doing well in a while. And I had all these plans. I was going to get a job by this date, and I was going to move up in that job, and I was going to do this and that. Well, I wasn't real hireable, you know, like I have multiple felony convictions as a repercussion of the way I lived when I was using. And that just, some people can't get past that. It didn't matter that I was overqualified for a lot of the jobs that I was applying for. I had multiple degrees. I had been a business owner. Nobody cared. They saw, man, you've got all these felonies. We'd really rather not have you in our place. And I had to accept that. And that's fine. It went the way that it was supposed to go. You know, did I ever see myself in the construction industry? No, I never saw that because I never wanted to work hard. Yeah, I never wanted to put this kind of effort into a work life, but that's what it took for me to better my life. So I took whatever opportunity was given to me and I ran with it. And when I say it went the way it was supposed to go, because my life has bettered and I've been able to better my family's life through the path that basically God showed me. This is what's open to you. These other doors aren't open. You're the one that closed them, but we're going to open this door and see what you can do with it. And I did the best that I could, and life has gotten better. But there's reminders all the time. I used to avoid going to the doctor for any reason. I still don't have a primary. Let me tell myself, I still don't have a primary because I think I'm like bulletproof. But part of it is every time I go to give blood, I am reminded that I was a 20-year IV using addict and they can't find veins on me. I can't just go give blood and it's embarrassing. And I sit down and I try to tell the person, no, you can't use the spots that you use on every normal person. And then they start looking at you different, you know, like, what do you mean? Why? I'm like, well, because, you know, I had a problem and I have to admit it. And it's ugly, you know, it's ugly to say that you burned your veins out because of your drug use. And usually it's in a room where there's other people standing around and, you know, it's humbling to have to say that. Now, today, when I do go to the doctor, rarely, and I do have to face that and they give me blood work to be done, I proudly say, look, I'm in recovery. This is what happened from the way I used to live, but I've been in recovery for 9 years. So if you would listen to me for a second, I can tell you what works and what doesn't work, where you can try and where you absolutely shouldn't try. And I know it's a pain in the butt and I apologize, but this is what you'll have to do, you know. And I don't know that there's ever not going to be a tinge of shame attached to that. You know, I don't think that I'll ever like proudly say, hey, look what I did to my arms. Sorry, nurse, that you have to take 30 minutes with me and everyone else is in and out in 5 minutes. But it is what it is. You know, that's my repercussion for the way that I lived. And there's all kinds of things that we're going to face. There's all kinds of stigma that we're going to face going through life with the histories that we've had, with the choices that we've made in the past. And Melissa put it really well. Just if I bring it back to gratitude, the fact that I'm even here and I have this shot on a daily basis at the life that I'm living, that should just shadow everything else. Because by all rights, I shouldn't be here. So I have to deal with these inconveniences from my 20, 30 years of debauchery. Oh, poor me, you know, like, but I need to talk about it out loud, just like you did, Melissa. I need to say, hey, you know, tell my wife, hey, you know, I had a bad day. I had to deal with this crap today that I know it's my fault that I have to deal with it because of my choices in the past, but it still sucks and it's still icky and it still makes me feel like crap. But I'm going to share it with you. And it lightens the load. We share our burdens with each other. We help each other carry the load. And we're not usually all sick on the same day. So the good thing is there's usually several people that can lift me up because we're not all crashing and burning and having the same situations on the same day. You know, Justin calls me, gets feedback on situation with his daughter. I mean, these are things that I can 100% relate to. I wasn't a father I wasn't the father of the year. I wasn't even allowed to be around my daughter. I was either locked up in rehab or her first impression of me was she called me a carrot monster because not this cool orange, but I was wearing county orange the only time that she ever saw me on a video screen. So, you know, at the time you try to play it off like it's funny. Ha, yeah, daddy's a carrot monster. But how crappy is that that's your daughter's first impression of you is your county orange is how she relates to you, is that you're just a big carrot because she's never seen you any other way but incarcerated. Now, that's one that you can clean up, because my actions since then have been steady, consistent, and positive, and she doesn't remember that. All she knows me is reliable, responsible daddy that's always there. And what a blessing that is. That's one of the ones that I can say that was cleaned up, when there's others that I'll just have to continue to face for the rest of my life. You know, it's just, it is what it is. My veins are not going to grow back and just magically get better. It's just a big bundle of scar tissue. Like there's nothing I can do about that. But I kind of believe I need that humility every once in a while to remind me that look where you came from, bro. Like, look what's going on in your life. Stop and be grateful for where you are, because you came from a dark place that most people don't get out of. And if I can bring it back around to that, I can find gratitude in anything. And I can be the guy that goes in there and maybe breaks the stigma of the way that that nurse thinks, because I've had nurses treat me like crap and look at me like I was the lowest thing in the world. And I've had other nurses pull me aside and go, oh my God, you know, how did you get into recovery? Like, how did you get well? I'm dealing with this with my grandson or my son or something like that. And then I have those opportunities to share my experience with somebody. So if I look at these things as an opportunity and not some kind of a curse, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard, Melissa, when you're looking at that. Unfortunately, don't get mad at me for this. I call it self-centered fear, because that's what it was, is, oh my God, how is this going to affect me? You know, like me, I'm screwed. But big picture, God's big picture, your higher power's big picture, you walk through this with grace, dignity, tears, support, and you come out the other side, and you're there to be able to share that experience with the next person that's dealing with the same guilt, shame, remorse, fear, and you get to be the one that lifts them up like you were lifted up while you were going through it. So it's an incredible process, that the way these things go. I mean, if you're, let's say, the 95% of people that are watching this podcast can relate to this. There's probably 5% that are allies that we appreciate you, you know, so much that you support us, that you're not a person that's in recovery or that has ever dealt with substance use. But if you're one of us, then this is an important topic, because these are the decisions that can either send you the wrong way and send you spiraling, and you hide, like, oh, it's too much, I don't want to face it. And then you isolate and you cut off all those connections that have been building you up. Or you face it and say, this is a consequence that I have to deal with, but I'm trying to better myself. And you lean on people and you walk through it and you share that experience with the next person that thinks they can't do it. And it's incredible. It's hard when you're doing it while your feet are moving, but when you look behind you, it's so fulfilling to see that the things that used to send me running today, I can walk through those things today and be stronger for it. So that's my 2 bits on it.
No, yep, that's me. Hey, I'm back for a moment. You know that thank God we're not all sick on the same day, bro. Imagine what it'd be. It'd be some.
I don't want to imagine that. That's terrible.
I imagine it being a mosh pit, but that's just me. You know, I don't know. Yeah, man. Thank you, Caesar, for that. That was right on, spot on. Nate, you wanna jump in? You want me to read some comments?
No, read comments. There's a shit ton. A.
Yeah.
And
A.
Is that
B.
Is there an echo?
What? Here, I'm gonna mute myself. Maybe that'll help.
I thought there was an echo. That did help. All right. Go ahead, Justin.
Oh. You want me to read some comments? Okay. Were you going to say something?
I was just saying, is that Ben Marciano, Ocala Ben Marciano that said hi?
Yes.
What
going up
Ben?
there. Right there.
Yes. What's up?
You see his picture. What's up, Ben? All right. So we got Steven from Alaska. What's up, Steven? Glad to see you here, man. And here, boom, there was that, Melissa. Just had my implants removed Friday. And you know it's funny? Listen, there's a lot going on like that out there. And people talking about it. Remember, I told you there's a group, Tiffany's in the group. And because I mean everybody goes through that, man, as you know, especially this day and age, talking about, you know, plastic surgery and all that. I mean, it's kind of crazy out there. But there's a lot of people that are removing, you know, a lot. And then we have Crystal. I am so sorry you're in the burn unit. She says, hello from the burn unit in Oklahoma City. I'm dealing with this very thing, pain management after substance abuse. Thank you for sharing. I am glad you're here, Crystal. Prayers for you. Let's see. We got Jamie says, surgery is scary. I had 3 on my back. I get you. Lynn says, Melissa, you are a warrior. Thank you for sharing. Love you. Diantha, I have received more support from my recovery family than my blood family with some very hard situations. And for that, I'm blessed and grateful. Isn't that true? You know, our recovery peeps, man, they show up, man, show out no matter what, man. We go through anything. And that's the beauty of it, man. And that's why I say, find your circle, find your tribe. Because they're out there waiting for you. If you got your own way. That's it. We got Erica in the house. God is good, yo. Missy, I hate the stigma that continues to haunt those who have chosen to do better. It makes me so much more. It makes it so much more difficult than necessary. I'm sorry you have the extra stress. Bless you for having the courage to continue to recover out loud and create change for those who come after you. This is a win. Steve, big Steve. Sobriety allows you to be employable in vocations you have never dreamed. Yeah. And that's a fact right there. Like what am I doing here? Dina, it is so hard not to parent. It's so hard not to parent through guilt when we put our kiddos through our mess for so long. We have to be nice to ourselves and be brave when we parent in recovery. Best advice I ever got was to treat mine like my newcomers. Stay strong. You know, it's funny because we're always so harsh on ourselves, but we could tell somebody else, you know, it's the best advice. We got Mikey. What's up, Mikey? We got Lindsay. Hey, everyone. Happy Sunday. We got Amy Lee. So proud of everyone. We are blessed to still keep rising above. You are all examples. Not only can one recover, but be better today for it. Thank you for being here and spreading inspiration and hope. Thank you, Amy. And we got Addict Junction. What's up? Ego and self-pity have gotten in the way of getting dental work completed on top of fear of pain meds. But we learn to talk about it and walk through the fear with higher power and one another. And we got Helen says, Caesar, I love your wisdom and compassion. And we're going to, that's it. Nate, what's up, man?
Hello. All right. So great topic. So much has already been shared. What do I say? There's a line in some literature I subscribe to that says, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. You know, and it goes on to say, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. Now that sounds all well and good, right? Until look at Steve. That sounds all well and good. But how do you tell somebody that, you know, when they first get here, right? And how do you translate that the very thing that has caused their life to be completely torn apart, to have had made them so broken, so desperate, so pathetic, has made them lose their daughters, has made them spend half their life in prison, has made them not be able to see their mom when she passes, has the list goes on. This is all the things that have happened during the course, of my ripping and running. How do I get sold on the idea that this is going to be a good thing? Oh, just hold on, hold on to the bottom of your seat. This is going to be a great ride. I'm like, nobody can tell me that when I get in here. How do I get there? How do I truly understand the gift of my past? Because that's what my past is. My past is my greatest asset. And as soon as I can stop being ashamed of it and feel guilty about it and accept what has happened, and let it go, like as a bad like omen, some ominous cloud that's going to continuously follow me for the rest of my life. As soon as I make that slight shift of perspective and understand inherently, clearly, truly concede to my innermost self that everything I went through had a divine purpose, it had to happen. Once I can truly wrap my head around that, the past loses its power over me. That, for me, that I couldn't clean up shit until I understood that I had to go through what I had to go through to get to where I'm at, right? Those stupid sayings that we always hear that are so true. It is exactly what I needed in order to get to where I'm at today, right? But how do I get there, right? That is a giant leap from when I'm coming in here completely broken and beaten and a shit ton of pain. Yes, Steve, shit ton. A shit ton of pain. Like to how do I shift that? How do I understand? I have to come in here and I have to connect to a group of guys, a fellowship. These guys have to introduce me to a higher power, whatever you want to call it. And I have to do the work and get busy and I have to lift the veil from my eyes. I have to clean out all that darkness so some light can get in. And once that happens, I can start to see clearly. I can start to see the blessings that my past have afforded me. I can start, but first I have to love myself. I have to discover some self-worth. I have to discover some self-esteem. I have to do some esteemable acts, like Caesar always says. I have to balance the scales, man. I was a scumbag for a lot of years. I hurt a lot of people, and that stuff just doesn't reconcile right away. I have to, what do you call it? Karma, whatever you want to call it. I have to do good to feel good. You know what I mean? And it starts inside. I can't just get sober and start, fixing all the outside stuff. I am useless in this recovery process until I fix what's going on inside of me. And so once I start doing that through constant, step work, through constantly applying spiritual principles in all my affairs, through constantly contacting this source, this God that I've discovered, and building a relationship, and by constantly making myself available to be of service to others, right? And in that process, I can start loving myself again and not, being so ashamed. And I can start, being able to look in the mirror and not seeing a mistake, to understand that not many people in this world, not even in the recovery arena in general, don't get to discover their purpose. And I have been blessed with this divine purpose to reach the unreachable. And I have that gift. I can help people that nobody else can seemingly help, and it's not because I'm unique. It's not because I'm special. And it's not like anybody else can't do it. It's just because I put the work in, and I continue to put God and recovery first, and it puts me in a position to help others always. Now, in the same breath, I can be a spiritual guru. I can be plugged in, and I am. I know I am. And I say that without a hint of narcissism. I contact my higher power. I talk to him. I have a relationship with him on a daily basis. I do all the things that help me connect to this power, right? It doesn't matter. Life is still going to throw stuff at you, and it's going to be difficult. You know, one of my family members had me thinking that I was that same scumbag brother, like heading to prison, you know, with my tail between my legs, begging my parents for money. Like I felt all that stuff just this week, you know, and like felt it, you know, I had to like it overcome me, like physically overwhelm me to the point where I was at a loss. You know, everybody, you know, my girlfriend, she's like, "Are you okay?" She could feel, you know, this guilt and shame just by words, you know, just by words. And which, like Caesar says, you know, there are some things you can't undo. You know, there are some things that can't be undone. But guess what? Thank God I maintain a spiritual discipline that allows me to be armed when these things come in my path, right? I stay busy when things are great. I stay busy when things are bad. I stay busy every single day because I know inevitably life is going to happen. It's going to come at me, and I need to be prepared because I have these peculiar twists in my mind where I don't see things like other people. Somebody could say something to me, a compliment, let alone, you know, a curse or disrespect. It doesn't matter. Someone could tell me a compliment, and I'll say they're full of shit. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not this. You know, what I take in isn't like other people take this stuff in. You know. But thank God that like I understand like on a visceral soul level that the way I perceive externally is a direct reflection of my spiritual condition. You know, as long as I am plugged in, as long as I'm connected, as long as I am reaching out to my fellows, I'm helping others, I'm doing the stuff, you know, that got me sober to begin with, still to this day, even more so, I can walk through anything that God puts in front of me. You know, I was having a great time last night. I was at Busch Gardens where I'm vibing, I'm present, just having a blast with my girlfriend and some friends. And, you know, and we're in a line waiting on on a roller coaster. And one of my girlfriend's friends says, "Hey, do you have kids?" And I'm like, wreckage of my past. I have to tell her, yes, I have 2 daughters and I am not allowed to see them. I lost them, you know? And I can say that and not feel bad today. That is the miracle of recovery. That is the miracle of a spiritual connection. You know, I can talk about these things. I can hear, you know, Justin and Caesar and everybody talk about their kids and understand that in God's time, I will be a father. Not only that, but just because I'm not a father then today, I get to be a father to somebody else's kids. You know, I've gotten blessed, you know, in this relationship to be a father anyway. You know, it's not on my terms. It's not on my time. But if I can have just a slight shift of perspective, I can see where God continuously puts me exactly where I need to be. I am not going to be put in that position if I'm not busy doing this work on a daily basis. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not going to grow. I'm going to become stagnant. I am not going to have these experiences. And maybe I will have these experiences, but I'm not going to be able to interpret them or perceive them for what they are, which are gifts and manifestations of who I believe in. You know, and my past doesn't haunt me anymore. I have nightmares every single night about trauma that happened in prison. And when I was on the street, I have nightmares every single night. I wake up charged, ready for life, excited, no coffee, no energy drinks. I am ready to go because I understand what a gift I've been given, you know, and that gift is everything that I went through. It is my past. That is my greatest asset today. I get to share my experience, strength, and hope. I hate when people say that, but it's so true. I get to share all this tragic and messy and dark shit and change somebody's life potentially, you know, if they're willing, you know, just as I was, you know, because guess what? I understand today that I am not unique, that someone's been through the same shit as I have. Someone has more than me, someone has less than me, it doesn't matter. I just continue to show up. I continue to connect to this power, and I get into a position, to live like the most beautifully blessed, gifted life. And it has nothing to do with any external circumstance. It has everything to do about feeling okay inside, and feeling, being able to go to sleep at night, being able to not have to hide, not have to have mask on, to say, I can't see my daughters and still be okay. I can be sad about it. That doesn't, it can hurt, you know what I mean? But it doesn't, my past doesn't define me. It's just a part of the definition. That's all I got. Justin, mute.
You're muted, Bubba.
Mute.
Hey, look, he's like, oh my God, I don't do this.
Damn it. No, I pulled out my damn cord and I had to plug it back in, and then it muted me on here, but I unmuted it on here. Yeah. Anyways, Nate, dude, I just love. That was fire right there. That was just so beautiful put, and I just love it. And you know what, Nate? The one thing I did explain to my daughter is, we make these bad choices, right? But we're not our bad choices. Our identity doesn't lie in those, because I'll tell you right now, just like your brother,
that's okay.
Just okay.
I said it too. I said
just
it too.
Like those things. I know the cat's out of the bag. You already did it. That's what it is. But just like they throw daggers, right? They throw daggers, and they don't mean to, right? They're just, it is what it is. But those things that they throw at us, the only weapon they have is those choices of our past. That's only daggers they have. They want to see what sticks. And they light those motherfuckers on fire too. And they throw them at us, right? And it's just like the stuff that happened to me, man. And it depends on like where we're at in our journey, how suited and booted we are, that armor that we put on to be able to handle the stuff that comes at us every day. And sometimes it comes out of nowhere, but my identity would lied into that guy that was 130 pounds soaking wet, shooting up junkie, homeless. That was my identity. And I never worked on it. Just like you said, closing the door on the past, it might be shut, but dude, that thing can creep back open and it all comes pouring back out. We have to face it head on and deal with those things that are nightmares to us, that are the most crippling ever. Because if we don't, somebody else is going to help us do that. And guess what? We can look at it, our higher powers working in our lives, or we can look at it like, how can they do that to me, and go in victim mode.
Yeah,
right?
and Justin, the whole time, like the situation I've been going through this week, not once did I curse him, not once did I love him. I accept him, and I am grateful just to, for the lessons that I'm learning, and I just, no resentments, no anger, the work that where I see I need to do work, because it made me feel bad about myself when I know I'm not wrong or bad or ugly or messy or anymore, but it can bring me back there. It's like a time warp, the feelings.
Yeah.
Dude, I like what you said, Justin, about closing the door. There's a line in my fellowship's literature that says we won't regret the past or wish to shut the door on it. Because I know when I first came in, I'd have loved to slam the door on my old life and start my new life, but that's not the way this shit works at all. Like,
unfortunately,
that door, I can close it, but one of 1,000 other people can open the door right back up. And if I haven't dealt with what's on the other side of the door, that shit's gonna get me. That's the boogeyman back there. You know what I mean? Like, for real. And I have to face that stuff. So on a daily basis, I mean, everything comes back to how spiritually fit I am. Nate put it great. You can give me a compliment, and that'll hit me the wrong way if I'm not on the right footing that day. You could be talking about somebody else, and I'll overhear it, and I'll think you're talking about me. Because if I'm filled with self-centered fear and I'm not connected, everything hurts. I heard an analogy that, people come into recovery with thin skin and a hard heart, and you stick around long enough to get thick skin and a soft heart. And I've never forgot that. This woman, Christine, said it. And once again, that didn't make sense when she first said it, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense now. We're sensitive when we come in. The least little thing upsets us, and we're nasty. We don't care about anybody else but ourselves. And we stick around long enough to get that thick skin. It doesn't really matter what you say anymore, because I'm okay with who I am, and I have a soft heart, and I love others. I usually put them in front of myself. So, I'm lucky I had men and women that came before me that taught me all this stuff. Anything I say that may sound good or profound, I heard it from a person that heard it from a person that heard it from a person. All this knowledge has been passed down. Almost none of it's new. And I'm grateful that I didn't have to figure this out. I'm grateful that there was somebody way in front of me that blazed this path and was able to show everybody else an easier way than the way that we knew.
Melissa, you itching? Say something. I see you.
I like how Nate put it. I am, because I'm coming out of my thing. So I'm like Nate, I'm spiritually connected. I had a big day, a lot of movement. And I like how he said that it's like a time warp. It's really weird. So it's like an emotional warp that you can go to, and it will suck you out of your like present realm and pull you into the past so fast that it leaves you shook. And even if you have, that's what I was saying at the beginning, like even if you have a lot of time, it don't matter, because that's how quickly you can go through this time warp and get sucked back into to feeling feelings about situations. But I just feel like there's somebody out there that's listening to that tonight, and that I want them to remember that when they're walking through this, if maybe they're already walking through it or they're about to, and they think that they're doing okay and they're good, and they're checking their recovery boxes, and something hits them and it sucks them in that time warp, and it gets you shook. You're not alone. And we all are going through different processes of cleaning up the wreckage of our past. I don't know that it'll ever be cleaned up. My time here on earth, I sure try one day at a time, and I do the best to manage and maneuver through it as I go. But when you get to that spot where it does try and suck you back into that dark place, you don't have to stay there, not for very long. And you don't have to walk through coming back out of that place on your own. You always have friends like the Hope Shot and me over at Sober Now. Come stay in touch with me. Where, the unity is everything. It really is. Look at what we're doing here tonight. That's a lot of healing going on. There's a lot of things that we've all talked about, our own individual situations about the wreckage, cleaning up the wreckage of our past. But, we all know what we're taught. We're all connected. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that. I feel like there's somebody out there that's either walking through what we're talking about and they're a little lost, or it's coming up on them, and just come back. Don't let it take you. Don't let it suck you into that time warp too far. That's it. That's all I got.
I like that time warp. It sucks you right in. Yeah, it and you know what? It could hit us tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, so everything gets sucked out on a Monday.
That's right.
Let me read some comments, man. We'll wrap it up. But I just want to say thank you so much, Melissa, for coming on here tonight and bringing this and being vulnerable. Nate, Caesar, like always, Caesar, you trying to say something?
No, I was just making faces. You remind me tomorrow's Monday. Thanks a lot, bud.
Hey. No problem. I got you.
I see you, Phil Tyler.
Yeah, yeah. I see it. Yeah, shout out to Phil Tyler on 13 years today.
Woo woo.
Yeah, 13 years, man, and that's a hell of an accomplishment. Right there. Okay, so we'll go. Right here, we got Thomas is new to the live. He has 3 years, 8 months, and counting on and off for 33 years. This is the longest sober time and most productive. Why? Because I work an honest program for me, myself, and my life. God bless our clean time. Hell yeah, man. Congratulations on your recovery. Thanks for being here. We do this every Sunday, 8 p.m. live right here on the Hope Shot. Don't miss out. See you next week. Let's see. We got Diantha says, when I accepted that I had to make my recovery my lifestyle and living life and applying what I learned in recovery to my everyday life, to my everyday life has made dealing with things much easier. Mikey, I'm 14 months strong and my life is beautiful. I can't wait to see what the future holds. Gifts of recovery are so real. We got Missy Thang. We are nothing for anyone until we are first something to ourselves. Ain't that the truth right there? That is the truth. Let's see, we got Lori says, God is speaking through your experience. His divine is of the most highest and truly loves us through our downfalls unconditionally. Keep doing the work.
Thank you, Lori. Yeah.
We got Amy Lee, spiritual warfare. We got Erica says, wow, Nate, what a testimony. We got Against the Odds says, deep Nate. That's Phil Tyler too, if you didn't know. But we got deep Nathan. God bless you, brother. God will open the doors for you. Keep going, my brother. And then Christina says, I appreciate you sharing about your kids, Nate. I'm in the same boat with you, but I will not lose hope. In God's time, I'll be able to have my kids back in my life. And we got Lindsay too. Yes, that's a process I'm in. I get envious with everyone else's kids sometimes, but I know God is pruning me to be a good mom. He wants to see me evolve before he puts them back in my life. Claim it. We got to manifest that stuff in our life, you know? Even though we want to tell ourselves that it's over, it's not over. It's just not now. We got Doug says, thanks for sharing, Nathan. Definitely needed to hear your testimony. You are a great inspiration, my friend. We got Wayne Scott in the house. What's up, Wayne? Your past is the foundation that you build your beautiful house that you live in today. Missy, freedom is on the other side of fear. Sometimes walking through that fire is necessary to have peace. You know what they say, like they always say, like, oh, a diamond, it needs pressure in order to become shine bright. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that right now, because you don't want to hear it when you're going through it, right? Diantha, 5 o'clock comes very quickly. I love you all. I am so blessed and grateful for my Hope Shop family. We are grateful for you too. And let's see a few more. Nope, that's it for tonight. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight with us and to sharing this topic. Man, I absolutely thought this was just a much needed night. Like I said, these things come up during the week, and it has been like nonstop between Nathan, me, Melissa. Caesar always has a little bit of everything. And it was spot on. So thank you so much, Melissa, for getting vulnerable and being here. And yeah,
I'm grateful too. Thank you, guys. I love y'all so much.
All right, y'all. Hey, guys, have a great week. We love y'all, man. Have a great week.